Hello, and welcome to the What Are We Doing Here podcast, where we share the inspirational stories of two completely opposite women who overcame their unhealthy relationships with food and negative self talk, who found a path to health and healing through self discovery and natural nutritional supplements. I'm Lindsay,
I'm Brittany.
and we're here to talk to you about our inspirational stories. But first, how was your week?
So I've missed you for one thing. I feel like we haven't been able to catch up at all. I've ran all weekend, work, 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 work. And I know you had a big weekend with the kids, right?
Yeah, we had softball all weekend. So it was really cool. We picked up with a team that's not Taylor's typical. And so it was really nice to have a different experience. But she did awesome.
Yay! I'm so happy
And
for
then
you guys. It's awesome.
you,
We
you
just
were,
worked all weekend. I have not even had a chance to catch up. I think I only listened to last week's podcast like twice, which I figured it would be more just because, I was so moved by listening to myself speak. And then also, even hearing you after the fact was also very moving.
yeah, it definitely hit me in a different sort of way. um, it's, I think we kind of talked about you've told your story a few times, like talking to people. And that was really the first time that I had said a lot of those things out loud ever. And definitely publicly having it out there, re listening to it, it hit me in a real weird way. And I kind of went down a rabbit hole.
Yes.
I started looking at some pictures, just going back through my journey.
That's always hard. Yes. Those pictures will really bring it home, won't they?
It did. It did. And I think that it just really reminded me of how we need to be really like give ourselves a lot of grace.
Yeah.
This has not been a linear journey for me. Probably not you either.
Not at all.
Yeah.
A
And
roller coaster.
absolutely. And one big thing that I was really struck by is how my story, my scale has defined me.
Yes.
My weight has defined me. And even though ours are different, like I don't know, do you feel like your weight's defined you?
So it's not necessarily my scale that's defined me, Lindsay. It's everybody else's opinions. I'm the youngest or the oldest of all the kids. They're all about your height, which is fairly tall, close to 6 feet. And, they can eat, I think we said last week, 9 pancakes. I could stir the batter and I've gained 10 pounds and they haven't. And but of course, they are not the ones that are giving me the stink eye, so to say. But even my family would say, if your grandparents could see you, if your grandparents could see you, they never bothered to find out my story, and I never cared to tell it. It was one of those things I hid from. So, yeah, it wasn't necessarily the scale like it was with you. It was more people's opinions. And in the South, we tend to say what we're thinking without thinking about what other people are going to feel after we say
Oh yeah.
it.
I'm sure I have definitely been struck with people saying things to me that was probably benign, you know.
Yes.
And for me, it's crazy because even when when it wasn't a negative, it was a, oh, wow, you look like you've lost weight. It almost fueled the negativity though for me. It was like, okay, well, I'm still not skinny enough, right? Like if you're noticing that I'm losing, I'm still not skinny enough. There's still more to lose. There's still, I mean, it's so crazy.
I
Like
would have never thought
I,
about that being a negative ever. That's not something
yeah,
that's negative to me, but I see that from your side now. Sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah. And so I think it's just crazy how we don't realize when we say to someone how it can affect them and where they're coming from and their past experiences. Because, for you, if someone was like, "Oh, you've lost weight, you look great," it hit you.
Yeah.
Right. Hits you a whole lot different
Mhm.
than it did me, at least then.
Yeah.
And so I had a real emotional week just kind of listening to the podcast. And then had a lot of reach outs. I had a lot of people, wow, I could never share my story like that. Wow, that's really inspirational.
Yes.
And wow, that was really awesome. Um, it again reminded me how for 25 years I've defined myself by that story. And I
And you
started
did it
looking at,
alone. You didn't share, so you did it alone.
well, that's it. I mean, we were kind of living in a little bubble
Yeah.
of our own mental
Very.
prison.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, um, anyway, really, I looked back and I found a picture from when I was 14 years old when this all kind of started. And I'm standing with my cousin who is also very tall. We're both very thin. And I looked back and now thinking, I cannot believe that I thought I was fat then. And I think it's really, really hard for me because my daughter is 10
Yes.
and thinking about what are the things that I'm saying and doing that are impacting her right
Mhm.
now,
Yeah.
and where is she with how she's feeling about how she's tall too,
Right.
and she's one of the taller girls on her team. She's also very muscular. She
Muscular.
gets on the
Absolutely.
scale.
Mhm.
So it's really hard, and she is in no way shape or form overweight. She's very athletic, but it just really brought me to this place of um how did I get there? How did I let that happen? I don't know. It was really an emotional roller coaster this week. So, how
Well,
about
I
you?
don't know how it all happens, really. You know, it's almost a hormone thing. You're getting hormones. You're getting different parts of your body are maturing, and even as we get older, our weight's related to our hormones. You just wrote a book on that, I believe. Our weight is related to our hormones, and um, a lot of times people don't see it that way. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and that the hormones, that brings me to another point. Just it those affect a whole lot of things, and for you specifically, um I don't know, how has it been reflecting for you? I know you said you only listened a couple of times, but I mean, and you were so busy the weekend. Is there anything that really sticks out for you that, like, you can tie back into defining yourself or feeling, you know, overwhelmed with your story?
um Here's where I need the grace because I'm an emotional. Look, I cry during commercials. Let's be honest. I'm that girl. Um, Hormones, right?
Mhm.
Hello, hormones. So I I've been very overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support, like you said. People that I was scared to see in the supermarket because they knew me in high school, skinny fit Brittany. They knew me, when I was at a healthier weight. And so moving back to my hometown about 2.5 years ago, it changed a lot for me. I wouldn't shop in town. I wouldn't go to the church where I grew up. I go to church in over a town, and it just I was very affected by. I was hiding. That's what I was doing. I was hiding, Lindsay, and these people I was hiding from, these people that I went to church with that saw me for me and not my weight, poured out their love and support, not only on my posts on Facebook, not only, you know, commenting, about my podcast on Facebook, but I had people show up to my job this weekend and say,
Wow.
"We're proud of you. Now share your secrets. Help me." And that's all
Yes.
I wanted all this time, Lindsay, is just to be able to help people. So I haven't been able to reflect and look back like you have, but I have been able to reflect on the fact that I have a big support system in this that I didn't think I had. Again, with
Yeah.
the mind prison, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's so important to point out that everyone has their own story.
Yes.
Women are conditioned, and men. I'm not, negating the fact that men have body image issues as well, but primarily, we're women, and so we're targeting that audience a little bit more, but we all have a story. We
Yeah.
all have got some piece of insecurity, and you can feel so very alone, and just like that, feel like I don't want to be around those people. I'm afraid of what they'll say. And remembering that you do have a support system. If nothing else, message me and Brittany, because we
Yes.
would love to be your support person, because feeling like you can talk about it, and last week sharing for the first time out loud, really saying out loud that these were things that I dealt with. It was almost even more healing for me, because then, just like you realize there are more people who have those stories and are supporting you. But in turn, we can help them as well, and we can support them as well on their journey. So I think it's just been really phenomenal,
I would agree.
just
Yeah.
being able to put it out there.
We definitely want to be able to be there for those. When Lindsay and I started this journey, what are we doing here? It was born quickly. It wasn't something that we put a lot of thought into, because when we met, we connected in a way that it was almost like we'd known each other our whole lives. And I could tell just from talking to her that she is such a giver, a servant. She wants to help people, and I want to help people, and that's why we're doing this. So definitely, if you feel alone, please reach out to us. We would be more than happy to just talk to you, and give you that confidence if you're lacking it, because I know Lindsay has helped me gain so much confidence, so much.
Likewise. I mean, and I was just going to say that, like, there are so many pieces of you that I really appreciate having you to kind of push me. But another big one, being givers, something that has been really nice is being able to receive some of that grace. And, sometimes you can have both sides. And if you are a giver, you can feel like you don't deserve, right? That's another
Right.
piece of that trauma, is we feel like we don't deserve someone else's help. We don't deserve someone else's love. We don't deserve that. And so finding someone who can really open up your eyes and make you realize that you don't always have to be the giver. Like, we are all deserving of love, and, having that reciprocal respect from someone. And
Yes.
I think that was really cool today when we were talking about pivoting. Really, we
Yeah.
had like a list of podcast topics. All right. But this morning we were like, you know what? We need to change.
Mhm.
And I appreciate that you were just like, yeah, cool. I think that's great. Um, but the things that you didn't agree with, you were able to say, yeah, but let's not do that.
That's huge for me, Lindsay. And I'm not blaming this on my other friendships or the person that I'm in a friendship with by any means, because it is not on them. It has been on Brittany. But I've never been able to speak my mind. You know, if somebody wanted to do something that I didn't want to do, or somebody changed their mind about doing something, I was almost a doormat. I became, okay, that's fine. I became the yes girl. That's what I became. And I'm learning to, I'm seeing and I'm learning that it's okay to say no. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say, you know, I don't agree with what you're saying to me. I'm going to step back and take a minute to think about it. And you know what's even more important than that, Lindsay? What you spoke about earlier was that you learn to take compliments. I was always that girl. Somebody would say to me, matter of fact, in Destin's, Sophia, she's precious. She kept telling me, you don't know how beautiful you are. And I was like, stop, stop, stop. That was my way. I didn't know how to take a compliment. But even in just a few weeks, I've been able to change that thinking and say, thank you. It's okay to
Yes.
take a compliment, and it's okay to say thank you.
It's also okay to ask for help, because
That's
this is
true.
one that was big that you have really showed me. I needed to talk, and I knew you were busy, and you reached out, and I knew you were busy, and you said, "Hey, I'm good, call me." Typically, I would have been like, "Are you sure? Like, I don't
Mhm.
want to bother you. It's okay." Like it, but I didn't. I didn't even think twice. I just picked up the phone and called. And so being okay with accepting the help from people, it is so huge. So boundaries and being open to receive are two big things that even now we're still learning. Like our journey is not complete. We're, I feel like, just, tipping the iceberg right now. We've done a lot of growing and we've come from a really dark place. But I think it's awesome to see that every day you learn something new. Every day, there's still room for improvement.
And I will say to you also that I've seen a lot of growth in myself just from watching, listening to the podcast. As you said earlier, I was really hard on myself, and you were too, Lindsay. And we had people rally around us and say, wait, you did not see the same thing that we saw. You guys
Yep.
did great. So I would say, even, and I know we hit on this earlier, but even when you don't know you have support, you do. It's out there. People love you. There are people out there that love you.
Absolutely. So, definitely for the listeners, just don't be afraid to lean on people.
Mhm.
Maybe you've been hurt in the past. Maybe you've been disappointed in the past. We've been there. Like we know that feeling. But being able to kind of break out of that shell and open up your heart again and, gently trust someone. I mean, Brittany and I have a significantly different experience because we were super fast friends. Like you said, it felt right. And I think sometimes you get that. You'll get that feeling and you just know that it's right and listen to it. I think that's the other thing is sometimes we're so afraid that you don't listen. You don't listen when you're smacked right in the face
Mhm.
with an opportunity to grab a hold of.
And I will say too, for girls, I know that we all are struggling with body image issues, and that's a whole other podcast we'll have to hit. But one thing I would say is that Lindsay is never somebody I would have approached. She is not my typical friend, and she came up to me and it changed my life. So don't limit yourself by your own views, because guess what? Lindsay and I are a lot of the same. We have a lot of differences, but we think similarly. And I hate to think what I could have missed out by limiting myself because her body's not like mine and she doesn't want to be around people like me, because that's not true. Look at us. Look at where we
Yeah.
are. So I think that's important also. Don't, limit
I
yourself.
love that. Yes. I love
Wow,
that
Lindsay,
so
stop
much.
it.
Um, because I, I've been the other side of that,
Mhm,
that people will shy away.
mhm.
That, you were one of them that you wouldn't have come up to me. And
Yes,
sometimes it's really hard because being a strong female, again, it's that judgment side that you sometimes people will pass you by because they're too afraid, and it could be just an incredible relationship. So don't discount who you are and how special you are. We all have gifts that really need to be taken advantage of. And here's the other thing. If you do go up to someone and they negate your feelings, then that's okay. They're not your person.
they're
But
not.
just to
And that's on them. That's not on you because you
Mhm.
gave it a try. Right. Go ahead.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think so. Man, you just caught me off guard with that one because it really is kind of like I have been subject to that. Like I've been targeted as mean and, you know, too aggressive and overwhelming and outspoken and, all those things.
And Lindsay, that's the people that see you on the outside and don't see the inside, because you're such a balanced out person. Your inside is so soft and wonderful. And yes, you're a go getter, boss woman, get things done, but and it may run people like me off until we get to know you, and then you become such a you're a well-rounded person that is an asset to me, and that
Yeah,
makes. Never have I had a friendship, and again, this is on me. My friends have always been fantastic, but never have I had a friendship that has made me want to grow and be a better person like my relationship does. And I think that's important. You need to be, surround yourself with like-minded people, because it's easy to be negative when you're in a negative hole and people are feeding into your negativity.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree completely. And on the other token, and you hit on this on the initial podcast, and this is one that um, when you're in the gym, if we were in the gym, it's crazy because I am actually that person. I wish I have a couple of girlfriends now that we're really close and we worked out together all the time when I lived in Indiana. But like, I propositioned this girl like 3 times. I was like, hey, why don't you come work out with me? And body types are completely different.
Mhm.
But I'm always want to be that encourager. I'm so glad you're here. Not, is this your first day? It's like, and so you, I don't know, that is just such an inspirational piece for you to remind people of, be sensitive to body types, and people are there working, and you are one of the hardest working people that I know. I mean, dang, this weekend, like,
That
you
goes to
work
you
so
too.
hard.
I don't know how we have been able to carve out a part of a day to speak every day. And Lindsay, I miss you when I don't talk to you.
I know, it's crazy. It's
So
crazy.
yeah, I do. I think it's important that people realize also, on the other end, just be kind to each other. It's important. It doesn't cost you anything.
Absolutely. Yep. Don't You never know what somebody else is dealing with, you know? You just never know. Oh, yeah.
And anything else you want to talk about today?
I don't think so. I really just wanted to, have an opportunity to reflect on last week, because we really wanted to jump right into another topic, but I felt like there were so many things that, and I guess just thanking everyone who listened and did give us that outpouring, because I mean, it was so not expected. I mean, we're like, it was quick, it was messy action. That's from a friend of mine. She's incredible, Miranda, but she talks about messy action, and she totally inspires me to do messy action. That's where we're at. And so we didn't expect anybody to listen, really. I didn't. It was like, we're just do it for us. And so it's been awesome. And so thanks to everyone for the support.
And I just want to expand on that. I said earlier today, I used your term messy action because I am not good with the messy action. I am the perfectionist, the planner. Lindsay has pushed me outside of my comfort zone, and I'm all like, yeah, you're messy action now. But I will say that after I got done and you edited the podcast, after we got done and you edited the podcast, and I listened back to it, of course, we've already discussed, I cried. Um, but I was like, it's okay to be imperfect. There's no perfect people listening to us. So you guys just give us a little grace. We're not going to be perfect. We're learning as we go. We really just want to get out there and help people. And please reach out to us if you want to chat. If you can reach out to Lindsay or I, either one, on Facebook.
Yep. And so we're both on Facebook, Instagram, and we're just here to talk and listen and let you know that there's someone there to support you, because it's important.
All right.
Well, make sure that you like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review.
That shows you
And
I know nothing about Apple Podcasts.
so funny. All
And
right.
I know you can also find us on Spotify, correct?
Yes. Yep. Spotify.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.